What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of the Market Marauder Show. Be in the market one trade at a time. If you're new to the Market Marauder Show, the investment channel helps you to find best deals in the market. If that's something you're interested in, make sure that thumbs up. Definitely helps you to out-promote the videos. Alright, today we're going over the Robinhood journey to 1 million. So the goal of this series is to try to get the account to $1 million through Robinhood. So been doing a lot of different strategic trades. Overall, let's go into the tracker, which is just this notepad on here. Had a total loss this week of $1.16, so it was not a positive week. But overall, learned a lot of interesting things. There are a lot of things going on in the market movement-wise. So you had the Fed that gave their decision, and the market just reacting to that. Those are always a little bit iffy after the Fed gave its decision, talking about tapering as well as numbers. You saw the market start to go back up and rally, and then immediately it started to go back down. And so I'm going to go over my portfolio strategy, basically, and how I'm, getting prepared for a lot of this stuff going on, and some of the indicators that I'm looking for my overall portfolio strategy to try to get this account to 1 million. So these are the plays that I had this week. So let's jump into some of those. So first on here, we have CFVI. CFVI. And so CF acquisition, I actually jumped to this one as just a spec play, so speculation, and didn't really realize what I was doing, but jumped into this one because this was supposed to be one of the companies that was merging to help create the social media platform that Donald Trump was actually going to be a part of. So I jumped in, bought 3 shares, and then sold those 3 shares for a loss, and so it ended up being a loss of $2.14, which is not too bad overall. Didn't really blow up the account, was just going off a speculation play, and so that was the first trade from this week. And then another one we have on here is CR. We have GRTX, and so let's look at that. And so GRTX on here, we can see they ended the week at $2.92. Jumped in on this one for $6.26 and then sold for $6.34. So on here, it's just a small 6 cent increase. On here is a profit, just doing a lot of different strategies, trying to see what's going on. Another speculation play on this one as well. Didn't really do much due diligence or research on this one. Just saw that it was going up and bought it 228 and then sold it the next day for 634. And so the next one on here that we can look at is ALZN. Same thing with this one. This was a spec play. Just saw this one was going up, and then was like, okay, I'm going to, jump into this one. So I jumped into this one and bought it for $5.74. Bought 2 shares and then sold for $5.49. So these are just little small, increases. 2 cent, 6 cent, and then went back to some options trading. I had bought Pfizer previously in the previous week. Saw Pfizer was fluctuating quite a bit, and so end up selling the option that I had for Pfizer. If we go to Pfizer, end up buying it for $1. I mean for $10, and then sold it for $11. So only a $1 increase, but still an increase nonetheless. So I was happy to lock in the profit on that for Pfizer. And so that's ticker sign PFE, making a total loss for the week of $1.16. So I'm not complaining about that, especially considering how much is in the total portfolio already. And so the plays that I currently have are all puts. I think the market is very volatile. I think some of these companies are extremely overpriced. I think it's going to continue to go on. I think the bubble is about to burst. There are a lot of things on the horizon to look at. You have Fed tapering, which is soon to begin to happen here pretty soon. Interest rates, I think, are going to go up. We still have inflation, which they're saying is probably going to go into 2022, but I think realistically it's not going to be solved until the beginning of 2023. So I think inflation is just going to run rampant until 2023. The beginning of 2023, in my personal opinion, you still have supply chain issues which affect all of these companies. Majority of companies that are publicly traded, supply chain issues is going to be a problem which has not been solved yet. In February, you're going to have the student loans begin to repay, and so I think that's something that is going to affect a lot of millennials. And so 35% of the workforce are millennials. So one in every three worker that you see, whatever position that you have, is a millennial, if not more. And so, you have student loans, which was the biggest problem for a long term, started to become active now. And a lot of things have changed since then. I've had friends who bought houses since then. I've had coworkers who've had babies in that year time frame between the beginning of COVID and now. And so, people's lives have drastically changed. And I think people got comfortable with not paying those student loans. And so, if you don't really know the number, that interest is going to kick in and definitely be, something to look at for financially, and could put a lot of people in a lot of rough situations, especially for those who have put it off to the side. Now, I'm not saying everybody's irresponsible. There are people who have been paying, them off. I paid mine off, and I think people will be, not surprised that they're going to be paying it off. I just feel like, for me personally, if there was an unsuspected bill that was coming up on the horizon, and then it suddenly started to I started to get emails about the bill, or heaven forbid, it started to come out of my account, I definitely would, have a red flag and be like, okay, what's going on? Trying to figure this out. And so, those things are something that, definitely affects things like your credit score. So if you're considering trying to get a new house, or considering doing that, you're going to have, being or having missed payments for this new bill that you have in the form of student loans. But then also you're going to have interest rates start to go back up. And so, it's not going to be as easy to get large loans as it is currently. So just a mixture of things going on. But I think ultimately it's going to affect the total economy. And so I chose these two, Apple and Microsoft, because Apple being the largest market cap currently out there in the market, I think once it falls, it'll start to trigger, the whole economy. So, I'm going to be looking at AMD for supply chain issues, especially the semiconductor world. So I have a put on AMD. And if you look at a lot of these, they're out pretty far. And so I'm kind of giving myself a lot of space for this plan to enact. I think probably around the March time frame would probably be when this will happen. Apple already announced that they're going to be sitting their workers home indefinitely and not opening back up. That's something that definitely, with the spread of Omicron, is a worry for a lot of companies moving forward. The mandates and stuff that are going on, business wise, those are something that companies are looking for moving forward. I don't think companies like continuing to have to close down or have people work remote. I think they'll prefer to have people in person and be business as usual. But that may not be a reality that a lot of companies can do. And so, definitely looking at Apple kind of leading the charge for the whole corporate push to move back to remote work. I think that definitely will have an effect. Supply chain issues, like I said again, will have an effect on Apple. Microsoft, same thing. I have a put for quite a long time away for them as well. And so I have these two are my longest two ones, and then these two being the shortest two ones. Next, what I'm going to be doing strategy wise is buying a lot of banking calls. And so Wells Fargo, Bank of America, SoFi, things of that nature. I think banks are going to do tremendously well during this time. People try to get loans, people try to borrow money to pay off debts. I think banks are going to do, tremendous. People try to find ways to make more money, portfolio strategies, anything in the financial realm, really, I think is going to be doing, great during this time. You probably see. shows like Dave Ramsey shows start to get way more calls once the student loans thing start to come back up. And so, definitely gonna be looking at that. But overall, I think that's the direction that the economy is going into. And so that's just a strategy I'm having. Positive on banking. Them moving forward, continuing to rally upward, and then negative on tech, basically. So a lot of tech companies, I'm suspecting are going to go down, and then I'm going to look at a lot of banking start to go up. Now, banking stocks don't rally like crazy, like they don't rally like Tesla does, but they do go up steadily. So if you're getting a contract in there, what I do is I just buy naked calls and naked puts, and so you may do a different strategy, you may do iron condor, or different strategies that you use for trading. You may sell calls or sell puts. Me personally, I just buy calls and buy puts, and so based on the strategy that I use, I try to give myself a little leeway, um, especially to have a lot of these actually develop. So tell me what you think about the strategy down below. Which stocks are you looking at for options trading or just stock trading in general? Right down there, make sure that thumbs up. Definitely helps you to out front the videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck to everybody out there trading. Peace.